Evening. My name is Chanel Hilliard, and I will be doing my video presentation on beekeeping. I have been a beekeeper for over 15 years. I enjoy beekeeping because it allows me to be a part of nature and help give back. It's my therapy. I find a lot of peace, and a lot of people tend not to bother me when I'm working the beehives. I have a lot of isolation there. They're a natural protection. We live in the Appalachian Mountains, and in the Appalachians we have two honey flows. From April until mid-July we have spring flowers, bushes, trees, everything basically that is bloom in the spring. A lot of people prefer the wildflower honey that is made in the springtime to take for allergies. It helps build up a natural immunity to all the things that make you sneezy. From about mid-July to August we have sourwood season. Now, sourwood is a tree that only grows in the Appalachian Mountains, so we have a corner on that market. When the sourwood tree is in bloom, it is 98% in bloom by itself. There are a few little grasses that are putting off some pollen, but it's mainly the sourwood tree for about a month and a half, depending on the weather. And any honey that is made from sourwood is pure honey. The first thing I'd like to show you is what honey looks like inside the hive. Now, what people call a hive is actually consists of two parts. You have the body, which is where the queen lays eggs. The worker bees help protect the babies and everything grow as they mature into bees. The upper part of the hive is called a super. In the super is where the bees do the most work that we enjoy. This is a frame of capped honey from a super. This is what it actually looks like before it makes it into the jar and sits on your table to go on your biscuits or your pancakes, whatever it is you prefer to eat it with. Capped honey shows you that this frame is ready to be extracted. The bees put a capping over it once the frames are full to protect the honey from contaminants or, of course, dripping out in warm weather and making a mess of the hive. Your beehive consists of three main types of bees. You have your worker bees, who the life of a worker bee is about 6 weeks, and it takes an entire lifetime, or 6 weeks, to make about 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey. Mostly worker bees die out because the edges of their wings get tattered from flying back and forth. A worker bee can fly up to 2 miles to pollinate flowers and to gather pollen to bring back into the hive. Then you have your queen bee. When your queen bee is hatched, after about 3 days, she will do what's called the mating flight. And in the mating flight, she will mate with anywhere from between 20 to 30 drones. After her mating flight, she will go into the hive, and she will lay anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 eggs a day. She can lay for up to 5 years with only one mating flight. The queen bee does not have a stinger. She is much larger than the other bees in the hives, and if you can find her, she's very easy to distinguish. The other main part of the hive is the drone. The drone is the male, and his only purpose is to mate with the queen. The drone does not have a stinger. He does not work outside the hive. He does not work inside the hive. Mostly his job is to mate one time and then eat the honey, which is the work of the other bees. Usually in late fall or early winter, the drones will be pushed out of the hive to either survive or die. And when the queen is ready, she will lay more drone cells to make more drones. My bee yard is 100% organic. There are no pesticides anywhere on my property. All of my bees have a safe environment to work. I do not treat my bees with antibiotics or any type of alternate forms of pesticides. I prefer to let nature take its course, and so far my bees have survived. All of my honey is handmade right here on my property, from where I gather it from the backyards I bring it to my honey house. Now, I am in my honey house tonight. The reason is the weather did not permit me to be on the bee yard to do a presentation in front of the beehive. So I'm going to show you a few components of what we have in here. we would take this frame of honey, we would hold it over our uncapping tank, and we would use what's called an uncapping knife, which is a heated knife, and once it's heated, you would slice the top of the cappings off on both sides into a tank. Then you would take this, and you would place it down inside the extractor like this. Once you had all your frames of honey in there, you would then turn the extractor on, and it would run for about 3 minutes, and basically it's a centrifuge that slings the honey out. People will call it extractor, they'll call it a honey slinger. It has several different terms. Mine is a reversible, so I can go 3 minutes in one direction, and then once it stops, I can reverse it and go the other direction without having to take the frames out and turn them around. Once we have the honey extracted, we then strain it into a bucket, a 5-gallon bucket, and then we will put the 5-gallon bucket and pour it into this tank. This is our stainless steel tank. This is where we bottle our honey from. Once we place the honey in the stainless steel tank, we let it set for 3 to 4 days so that all the wax that is left rises to the top, all the honey settles to the bottom, and then we can start bottling. A lot of people prefer natural honey. It's a lot healthier for them. It has a lot of benefits. And honey is one of the best things you can put into your body. It's a natural antibiotic. It has enzymes. It has vitamins. It has all the nutrients that a human being or a man needs to survive. Honey doesn't go old. Honey can stay around for 10, 20, 30 years. It will go darker with age, but it does not go bad. It will crystallize, or as a lot of people like to say, it will sugar, which means it turns granulated. The technical term for this is the evaporation of glucose from the honey, and it hardens into sugar. The honey is still good. You can either dip it out by the spoonful and place it in hot coffee or tea, and it will melt, or you can take the bottle and set it in a simmering pot of warm water, and the honey will again turn the honey from sugar. Excuse me. I've been a beekeeper for 15 years. I prefer to learn and practice my beekeeping in the old ways, before technology, before learning, before experiments. It seems to work for over 1,000 years, and that's how I prefer to keep mine as traditional as possible. Beekeeping, while it is a hobby, it is also a job. A lot of people think that they will take a small hive and set it in their yard, and then all they have to do is just sit around and watch it. And they feel that they're doing their part for nature, when in reality all you're doing is harming the bees. Your hive will suffer from overcrowding, will suffer from disease, dysentery, mites, and eventually your hive will swarm, and all of your bees will leave the hive, and you'll be sitting there with an empty hive body. Beekeeping is not a hobby to be taken lightly. There is a lot of work in it. It's not a high-paying job, and you're not going to make a fortune, and you're not going to get rich. My reward is the joy that I feel when I am interacting with the bees, and I can learn my bees. I'm outside in nature. It's a very calming therapy for me. A lot of people are scared of bees because they feel that they are aggressive or that they attack them, or they'll tell you they're allergic to bees, and some people are truly allergic. However, one thing I'd like to leave you with today. When you do have a bee swarming your face or your body, basically the honey bee is trying to determine if they can pollinate you. If you have on perfumes, lotions, anything that is scented, or if you're wearing any brightly colored clothes, the bees will come to that. Once they determine that they can't pollinate you, or there's nothing for them to take back to their hive, they will leave you alone. When people have bees come around them, they tend to want to swat, run, or get in a panic. When you start swatting or attacking a bee, it places them into a frenzy, and they attack in return. Usually, if you have some honeybees around you, the best thing to do is to remain very still, don't panic, and stay calm. If you have several honeybees and you feel that you are going to panic, the best thing you can do is to squat down, and just kind of make yourself as small as possible, and they will lose interest. I hope you've enjoyed my presentation, and if you have any questions or anything else I can help you with, please feel free to contact me. Have a great evening. It didn't stop.